I'd like to welcome everybody to the podcast today. Brandon and I are going to talk about our package products that we offer on the video side of things. And then we're going to go into a question a couple questions that I stumbled upon the other day on the website. It's called 10 Questions to Ask Your Videographer Before You Book. How you doing today, Brandon?
I am excellent. Yourself?
I'm good, man. So our first package, how should we start? How do we describe our first package?
I think our first package, basically how I like to describe it to our potential clients, is that video that they typically see.
On YouTube, right? Yep.
Yeah, I like to call it the highlight video.
Yes.
Kind of taking the key components of the day and condensing it down to our 7 to 12 minute highlight reel, from the getting ready to the ceremony to the reception. Really taking those key components that we've shot through the day and putting that in a condensed version. So I think that's the best way I describe it to them, and probably makes the most sense. What do you think?
That's a great starting point, but I like to think of it as more of an artistic look on the day. You know, it's a condensed version of the day, and the style that I edit it in is more of like it just goes throughout the day. So I'm trying to think of the word. It's not out of order, but it's in order. What's the word called? Chronologically. There we go. Thank you. Thanks for the assist. Chronological look at the day with the best parts of the day inside of it. So right up to first looks to the starting of it with, maybe some drone shots, maybe some sentimental shots of the rings, anything that's special, to the bride and groom, any accessories, from the groom getting dressed in his tux to the actual dress itself. I like to cover all that stuff. And Brandon, usually when he does shoot with me, he'll handle the groom side of things. So we always split up throughout the day. There's always a team with the groom at all times, and there's always myself and one other person, a team with the bride at all times. And we usually start right about when the bride is getting ready with makeup and hair, and we usually shoot all of that going throughout the day. The reason why I wanted to do this podcast today was because one of my photography clients actually talked to me about the love story, and they heard it on our podcast. So I thought maybe we should explain what all of our packages are and what we offer. What's the second package that we go up to?
Yeah, so it is a kind of a second package, but I like to look at it as more of an add-on.
Add-on.
So it would be a full ceremony coverage. So even though you're getting portion of the ceremony in the wedding highlight film, this would be the complete ceremony from start to finish. So this would be,
it's more of a documentary edit, So it's creative to a point, but we're not going to be looking for all the special cuts, special sides of the actual wedding. It's more, this is how it happened, and this is how you're going to relive it.
Yes, I think the one thing to keep in mind too is that as people may think, when they think ceremony video, they may be thinking one camera in the back of the church on a tripod, or maybe two. We're doing a little bit different, more than a couple cameras, usually about 5 cameras, and all through in a triangle formation, and 2 mobile cameras that are, capturing the crowd, capturing the people walking down the aisle. So it's a little bit more in the lines of a cinematic, but not fully cinematic, if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely. I like to get that point across. It's more of a documentary, cinematic definitely with all our high quality cameras. And then our third add-on, well, we have probably two more add-ons on the top of it. We touched base on the love story mainly that we shoot a couple months before the actual wedding itself. But the third add-on would be the reception edit. How do you explain that to our clients mostly?
Yeah, I think the point that I get across when we're talking reception edit is we're capturing the important pieces of the reception. So if they do a grand entrance, the speeches, bride, groom, best man, maid or matron of honor, maybe a father's speech. If they do a grand march, bouquet, garter toss, and first dances, obviously, bridegroom, first dance, mother, son, father, daughter. Those are the key components of the reception.
Yeah.
So
and we usually tap in. We usually tap in to get all the audio, the clean audio from the DJ or house audio, and then we also run our own audio backups on them as well. So we'll attach our microphones to the actual house microphone if we have to, just so we get that clean, professional sounding audio.
Yeah, the first thing is to see if we can get into the DJ's audio equipment. Unfortunately, a lot of times the DJ doesn't have the equipment to be able to supply us with, or they don't have an out, or there might be a host of reasons that we just can't tap into them. Second thing would be if they have or if they're not going to use their system and they're going to use house. House is a lot of times a little bit harder to get tapped into just because they don't always have the outputs. So then we hook a microphone up to the microphone, as well as possibly set up a secondary or third option. There's not enough backups.
No, you cannot have enough backups, definitely.
Yeah, and there's been a time or two where we've had to rely on our backups to go to, just because of something happening with a pop in the system or whatever the case may be. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but I know Scott, early on was not. You got to remember,
I'm not an audio person. I'm a video person, not an audio person. So it took a little bit of understanding and research for me to get that good audio is more important than good video, because your eyes will forgive bad video with good audio, but it doesn't work the other way around. Your ears will not forgive that bad audio, and then there's like crystal clear video. It's just hard to watch. There's just something about the human mind that doesn't allow you to process it that way.
Well, I think a lot of times too is you can't cover up bad audio.
No, you can't.
Like, nope. You can stabilize bad video. You can color grade bad video
to a point.
To a point. You can make it very. I think you can make it more eye appealing than you can make bad audio. Like bad audio is like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Where bad video is like, yeah, maybe that's not the most stable shot, but you forgive it. There is some naturalness to a little bit of unsteadiness, I guess. A lot of documentaries do that. You get that kind of more shaky video in documentaries. So, not that that's what we want to do. That's not what we focus on, but, I agree. I think now that we have kind of a system in place with our audio, it's made our videos a lot better.
Yes, it has. Yep, definitely.
So I think those are, our three packages, and, also to keep in mind with our business, we have at least 2 videographers at all times.
Always. Yep. Never solo shooter. Yep.
Yeah. More often than not, I would say 90% of the time we have 3 and sometimes even
3 to 4
yep. people shooting. And why is that beneficial to our clients? Because there are things that are going to happen that a single shooter can't capture.
Yep, definitely.
If you have multiple people, the likelihood of you capturing that special moment that maybe a single shooter won't is a lot greater, right?
Yeah, and a single shooter can't be in multiple places at the same time either.
Exactly. Exactly.
So.
And there's a lot more focus. They have to focus on not just the video, but then they have to focus on the audio.
Yeah.
They have to go to their car and grab additional equipment or go to the storage room to grab
Lighting.
additional equipment. Exactly, lighting. There's just so much involved in the day that I give kudos to the people that can do it single handedly, but I can't put in perspective how much stress that person must have on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to live to see my kid's 20th birthday. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there are very, very good, talented solo videographers out there.
Yeah. But I know myself, my stress level the day of the wedding is cut in half by having a solid person that knows what they're doing on the other side running the other team for me, so I don't have to think about it. Definitely,
for sure. And it allows you to focus on some of the other aspects too that you want to focus on that day. It doesn't draw you away on you don't cut out of the bride getting ready 30 minutes early because you have to go set up cameras.
Definitely.
We send someone else to do that we've been working with since high school. So, and that's the other great thing about our team is, all the people that shoot with us, are
all friends of ours that we've known for a lifetime.
Exactly. Our core people. I mean, Jesse and Ben. Jesse's been my friend since second grade. Ben has
I've
been
known them for at least 20 years.
Since high school, freshman year when we were in media production. So,
Yeah.
So we've got a good understanding of how each other work. But the other thing to that as well is we can joke around with each other, and it really kind of gives a calmness to us. It doesn't, we're not stressed out during the day. So, we may be running around like a chicken with our head cut off at times, but it's very calculated, and we know what we're doing. So
So once all that's done, all the packages, you choose the package. We go through the entire wedding day with our crews. The next thing our client can expect from us is I'm going to sit down and do the creative film edit. That's the first thing that I work on. As soon as we get back,
I think, Scott, I think before we get into that, we need to talk about the other what I feel is another key important component to the video, and that's going to be the song choices.
Oh, sure. Yep. That's part of the creative.
It is.
Yep.
But that's really the next step in between before you even start editing is how I explain it to our potential clients is so first of all, we have a website that we send our clients to, right?
Yeah.
And the website is something that we pay a monthly, yearly cost to, and I'll be honest, it's not cheap. And the reason it's not cheap is because it is fully licensed music. And this is a big, big thing to hit home because there are a lot of videographers out there that are taking music that they're buying from Amazon, they're buying from YouTube, and unfortunately they're putting it into their clients' videos, which if you know anything about the RIAA or copyright infringement is a big no-no.
Yep.
Like, not that, let me put it this way. It's not that they are going to come after you. Like, I don't want to scare people, but there is that potential that you could be,
Let me describe that process, how that works. So we use a website like Brandon's saying that we pay a monthly, yearly fee to. We take that music and we actually upload it to YouTube. And if anybody knows anything about YouTube has cut some deals with record labels. So a lot of vloggers, a lot of wedding film people, they can use music. They can go to Amazon and buy the music. And if it's in YouTube's deal with the record label, they can use that music, but they will get a warning email. So it won't be cleared. They won't be able to monetize it. They won't be able to do anything. It's just a fair use thing. And the person of the music actually gets to monetize your video. And we don't monetize the video anyway, but we don't want them making money off of our clients, their image and things like that. We're just using YouTube as a way to get the content out to our clients. We also have a private link we can go into a little bit more and how that works, but we use YouTube just to get the information out there really quick once it's done, and they can share it with their family members, put it on social media. But what the website we have does is it will send us that notification email sometimes, and it always does. And what I usually do is I take that email and I forward it on to our music website. They actually contact YouTube and go, hey, they actually pay us this money so they can use this music. Take that warning away. And then it's like night and day. The next couple of days, we get an email that says your video content has been cleared. You can use this music. So for a couple of days, they try to say, hey, the owner of this website, something's up, whatever. But the website that we use definitely clears it for us. So if you go to Amazon or iTunes or whatever, and you get that email, you won't be able to clear it up. And then if something happens down the road with YouTube's agreement with the label, it gets pulled.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting yourself out there, and I guess I don't know what the music thing would end up doing, but there is the possibility that there could be legal action taken by using non-licensed music, and I want to put my clients in that boat.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know you don't in that boat, and I think anybody who is music, is doing their clients a disservice. I think the big thing, and I understand there are songs that become popular and people want to use them in a video, and sometimes those songs are on this particular site and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
They just got to understand that. I mean, I think, my personal opinion on music is, especially when you're doing a video, if you go through the site, there's going to be a lot of unknown artists. But I think the beautiful thing about that is you can really recreate the feeling of that day through some of these artists. And that's the whole concept behind the videos. When you watch a video, you want to be taken back to that day.
And really, it speaks to us so we can customize it to what the day really is. That's how I edit. I observe the day, and yes, it is chronological. That's more my style, but I get a feel for how everybody feels during that day. And especially if the client gives us some examples of music, because we let them look at the music before the actual wedding. I like having the examples and what type of music style they're into before we start shooting for the day.
Another thing is I also explain when they're looking at music, we kind of give them some guidelines. Hey, pick a couple, slow songs, pick a couple a little bit faster songs, and we kind of tell them to, kind of mix it up a little bit. But, when you think of a wedding, there are different emotions through the day. It's kind of this roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Right? It's up and down, peaks and valleys. And I really think that, picking the music. So some weddings are very emotional. Some weddings are very energetic and upbeat. Some are very happy. Some are very sad. I mean, it's there's a very diverse mixture of emotions when it comes to weddings, and no two weddings I feel are alike. And I think the music needs to kind of speak to what that wedding was like. And, I think a lot of our customers have actually told us that. A lot of our clients have told us that, that when they watch that video over, it's like they're back in that day. And, as being one of the most important days of their life, I really think it's beneficial to have the music that ties in with it. And
Definitely.
they can relive that. I mean, how many times have we had our clients tell us that they've watched it like 10 times in the first month?
I just shared one video on YouTube, or not YouTube, but on Facebook yesterday. That was an exactly, how it comes up with your last year or whatever. I shared it again, and she always comments on everything that I put up about my little girl. We're Facebook friends, and they're good clients of yours. They own a venue up in Minocqua, and she's always liking my posts. I think she always likes your posts and always puts stuff on your posts. So just making that connection is great too, so they can see it. And I even think that this 10 question thing we're looking at is, they say something about how long have you been filming weddings, and how many do you do per year? And really answering that question is, it really varies from year to year, because it seems like it's a trend for video, and then it's a downward trend for one year, and then the next year it's uppers. But it says the best answer that they say on this website is, for years to come, you'll look at this video to remember all your favorite things from your wedding day. So you want someone who will catch every detail. So I think we do a great job with all the people that we have on our team, splitting up to cover the groom and cover the bride, so we don't miss those details like we were speaking about before.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, I'm looking at that question too, and they're exactly right. You know, how long have you been filming? I don't know if that's relevant per se if you've got the body of work to show
Exactly
your talents. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've got the work to show, and I believe we do, how many years we've been doing it, that should be irrelevant. If we've got the professional backing, you know,
Yeah.
and how many do we do a year? I mean, that varies. I mean, I'm obviously in the entertainment
We all
industry,
do.
and
Yeah, we both do
DJ,
multiple things through our
you've
year
got
with our time.
photography,
Yeah.
you've got photography going, and so you know we have to plug these in where we can, and
Yeah.
you know,
And I do the
also-
video stuff because I love video. I have a passion for video. So I don't want to burn myself out and do too many. I think one year we did
Yeah.
like 15, and that was getting to the point where it was almost too much, you know, and we're kind of at that.
You're
We're kind of at that.
complaining about, oh, I got to edit tonight. Oh, I got to edit tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, just get back in your cave and get at it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
We were getting to that point, or I was at least getting to that point where we're at a crossroads. Like, do we need to either drop the amount of videos that we do, or do we want to go full time? And really at this point, I would rather do less videos and make sure they're quality than go full time with video for sure, you know, so,
Yeah.
and still
I think-
enjoy it, you know, when I do it.
And that's the thing is you don't want to get burnt out, and you know, then, and not only that, but then as you start to have those thoughts of, oh man, you know, it's another weekend, and you don't have that
Exactly.
excitement,
Yeah.
your quality is going to fall off too then, you know, and you don't want that. So,
And you definitely
kinda
don't want your clients to pick up on that either. So
yeah,
having a true passion for what we do, I think carries over to the conversations we have of the day. And, you know, we're not just there to hold the camera in front of someone's face. We're also there to get them water. We can get them coffee. We can get them donuts if needed, you know, whatever, you know, throughout the day.
you know, and I actually, my neighbor, I was talking with my neighbor today, and we were talking about I got into talking about all the weddings I got booked this year, for the entertainment side. And she goes, wow, that's a lot. I said, yeah, but you know, I love what I do. I said, you know, a lot of entertainers, if you ask them why, their first answer is probably going to be, well, it's good pay, or you make a lot of money doing it. And that's not
That's not
my
a
answer.
good,
My answer is,
yeah, that's not a good motivation. You know, the money's great,
No.
but doing it just for the money will bring your quality down. Definitely.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that's their first answer, and maybe their second answer is I love doing it, or their third answer, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But my first answer is I love seeing the excitement on my, not only my client's face, but their guests.
Yeah.
You know, I love giving that entertainment value. I love performing and having people have a great time. And like I told my neighbor, I said, as soon as I stop having fun doing what I do, it's time to get out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same thing with really video or any job. Besides a Monday through Friday job, because sometimes you just
Gotta
gotta
pay
do
the
that.
bills.
You gotta pay the bills. But you know, when you're doing this kind of work where you're eating up a Saturday, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to, you know, work Saturdays. They don't want to work Sundays, you know, and it takes, I think, a special breed to do these kind of jobs. And, you know, but my focus is really the happiness of my clients first. And yeah, the money's great, but really that's the first focus is that. And then everything else falls in line after that.
Yeah. So kind of getting back to what we do post wedding for, you know, processing the video and delivering the video. First thing I usually do when I get home after a long day is I'll gather all the video cards, the SD cards, and get them onto a hard drive as fast as I can, because just having, like we said, with audio, with video, you need to have a good backup just in case. You never know, never know what happens. My computer could die, an SD card could break, something like that. So I usually spend an hour or two the night of the wedding getting everything onto my hard drive, and then another hard drive just to back it up. And lately I've been starting my upload to the cloud to get all that footage up to the cloud. Then the next day, if I have time, if I'm not doing things with the family, I will start the creative edit with the wedding film, the highlight film. And then we've kind of been demoing, bringing the thought out of having one of our second shooters do some of the documentary edits. We've just been kind of kicking it around. He did a couple for us last year, did a good job, just to take some of the editing stress off myself. So I handle most of the creative edits, and then I'll do the reception edit, and we have someone do the ceremony edit if they have time, and then we have them do it. The next step after that, after I get not the ceremony edit, but the highlight film going, we get the music in, make sure all the audio is set. I'll listen to all the audio, like the father's speech, the best man's speech, try to pull out some of the clips that I think are most meaningful, maybe start with part of the speech, and then we go through the rest of the day. And you can always take a look at our work at Ira Scott Productions on YouTube, and then right into color correcting after that. And I usually try to get it up on YouTube within 2 weeks. I try, depending on what the workload is. Our contract, we try to have the entire package, whatever package you choose, we try to have it finished in 6 to 8 weeks. That's from starting the edit to completion. You get it delivered on a USB flash drive, and then you get the private link that I was speaking of. It's kind of like maybe Brandon could explain it a little bit better than me and what we use. It's just a private link that you can send to your family, just like YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to really describe it. It's basically a YouTube style video, kind of the same format, but it's
got
private.
like a DVD menu, really. If you
It basically, if you were to take an old DVD, maybe you still have DVDs laying around, but take a DVD, put it in your DVD player, and you get through all the beginning stuff, the trailers for all the other movies, and you get to the sub menu. Basically, that's going to be your opening slide or your opening picture, and then depending on what package you get, there could be play film, ceremony, or reception, and they're all separated, or if you just get the film, or you get the film and ceremony, whatever the case may be, and then you just click the play and it'll start playing like it's a DVD. But the video itself looks almost like a YouTube format as far as when you get it full screen.
Yeah, it comes with a on the USB drive, you'll get a file that says play, and that's just an HTML file that'll open up in your default internet browser. So if you use Internet Explorer on a PC or Safari on a Mac, it will just bring it up, and it'll play right off that USB drive that we give you, USB thumb drive that we give you, and all the video files are on there, and it'll play right in its own web browser, and it'll look just like Brandon described.
Correct.
So kind of getting back to those questions that we found, we won't go through all 10 of them, but number 4 kind of stuck out to me. What input do you want from us, and what do you prefer to have final say on? So that's kind of a interesting question on, what input you want. We usually send a planner out to our clients. So that planner has like logistic information, shots that you'd like. That's the kind of input that we would like from you. The input that you'd want from us is mainly what questions that you would have for us, how we work on the day, right, to how many people are going to be there for dinner, things like that. So their answer was many videographers view each piece that they create as an artistic endeavor, and I can't disagree with that. That's definitely something that I view it as well. Definitely like your input on it. We don't really offer any re-edits on the film because that is an artistic take on how we experienced the day. And we've really not had any experience with anyone that's asking for any changes, except for maybe a change in the music. And if that is the case, I believe we do some sort of change fee or something like that. I don't remember what was exactly in the contract for that. I don't have it in front of me. But then it says, if you trust your videographer completely, this shouldn't be a problem. But if you have certain idea of what you want in your wedding video, you may want to talk with them. So we're definitely open to the discussion before the wedding happens of, hey, I think I'm getting a special gift from the groom. I want that featured very well. This past wedding that we did back in October, the mother actually messaged me privately saying that she was giving a special pair of shoes to her daughter and to make sure that we didn't miss that. And we wouldn't have missed it anyway, but it was nice to have that heads up. So we weren't surprised on what was needed to be shot that day. So knowing all that and having the best communication is always great.
Well, and I think, excuse me, I think also as well as we've mentioned before that, we sit down with all our clients to kind of go over that planner and any questions that are, any questions that do arise at that point, they're more than welcome to let us know. Yeah. And we'll go over those questions with them. But yeah, we do go over our wedding planner with them so that they understand how that's going to work. So. I'm looking at this. So I see number 6. It says,
I was looking at that one too. Number 6.
Yeah. Have you ever worked with your photographer? Do you know him or her? And I think, this is a pretty important one. And we're not going to have worked with every photographer. But we have worked with quite a few. And I think one of the things that what they're getting at here is there is a cohesive, you have to be cohesive as a team. So your photographer and your videographer have to work together. Definitely. Right? You can't have one really taking the reins and just, and kind of,
there's parts of the day.
In sports, I'd call it ball hogging. Yeah. You can't be you can't be ball hogging the wedding, so there's got to be a lot of give and take. And, communication is so important to us. We do try to reach out to the photographer ahead of time to speak with them and kind of get ideas to their style of shoot, talk to them about the day, just so that they're aware of us. And I think it just speaks volumes to what we do, going above and beyond, because I'm going to guess there's not a lot of videographers out there that reach out to the photographer ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. And to say that we always reach out to them, we try to, and sometimes we don't get any communication back. So that may be the first day we actually talk to them is the wedding day. So we not to say that we're perfect and we always connect with the photographer or all the vendors. We definitely try, but if they don't, there's not much more we can do. So we gotta work with them, feel them out throughout the whole day. And I've had a lot of photographers on the podcast talking with them, and we've worked with them before, and usually it goes really well. Everybody's there to do the same job, just different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I think definitely, and if worse comes to worse, we always have a conversation with them before the wedding gets started. So
especially right before the ceremony, like, where are you going to be standing? Where can I be? Let's not be in each other's way, just kind of stuff like that. So kind of looking at number 8, will you be shooting any other weddings the same weekend? Will you be the one shooting on the day of? So I can speak for myself that I will be the one that's shooting as of right now, at least this year, and probably a couple years and coming into the future. I don't see us expanding and growing to have another team. Brandon is sometimes not available, but it usually rests on my shoulders. If I'm available, then we take the wedding. If I'm not, if I'm doing photography or something else, then we really can't take the wedding because I'm the one that's important, not Brandon.
I'm the pretty face.
Brandon is the face of the company, and I'm the everything else. I'm just everything else. Yeah.
You're the guy in Office Space in the basement trying to find a stapler. That's who you are. You skipped over 7. I think 7 is very important too. I think that's a huge one. Have you ever shot at my ceremony or reception venue before? And I think this is really important because especially ceremonies, if you're going to be doing a ceremony, edit, it is important for us to, if we've not been there, we try our hardest to find out what their audio system is like, as well as possibly even taking a walk through that venue.
Yeah, if possible, I like to go to the rehearsal the day before, if possible.
Right.
Sometimes that doesn't always work out, but that is a great way to figure out where everybody's going to be standing, especially if it's a venue we've never been to before.
And I think one of the other things is we always try to reach out to, especially ceremony. If you're going to be having a pastor, we try to reach out to him or her. Sometimes they don't like to be microphoned up, and we need to know that ahead of time so we can plan accordingly. Most of them are okay with it, but we have had an instance or two where they fought tooth and nail to not have a microphone on their person. Actually, one ended up turning off our system at one time, and thankfully we had a backup. And that was one of our first ones that we did years ago. So I think it's important to see the venue, especially ceremony. Usually reception halls aren't too bad. We don't usually have to visit those ahead of time. And most of the reception halls we've actually probably have done one at, or 3 or 5. There are a few that are very, very popular that we've done quite a few at.
Yeah.
But I think the ceremony one is definitely important to take a look at if we can. If it's a church at least.
Yeah.
Outside it's a little bit different. So
yeah. So 9 and 10 we kind of answered. Number 9 was, what does your camera equipment look like? So we kind of said, they ask about what the mics are like too. Are they going to be handheld or clip-on? That's what we would call a lavalier, the clip-on microphones. That's all we really do use when we're miking up the groom and the bride and the podium, or mic up the officiant. Our cameras that we shoot on, I think they're asking this question so they're not big and distracting and clunky. We do have cinema grade cameras, and they are a little bit bigger, but they're not like super large like you'd see like a TV camera when you see television stations out on site with the big satellite truck. It's nothing like that. It's maybe a little bit larger than a photography camera, the ones that we use mostly. And then we also do have one photography camera that we use as well. And then number 10 was, will there be a second shooter and a stationary camera or any backup cameras on hand for a wedding? And we addressed that way earlier when we were talking about our packages. We always shoot with at least 5 cameras during the ceremony, and we have 2 teams covering the bride and the groom. So yes, there's going to be multiple cameras for the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are pretty important questions, but definitely have those covered. I mean, we've got, how many mics do we have? 6, 7, 8. We've got
that we use at one time. We don't use them all at one time, but yeah, we have access to multiple mics, even with the ones that you use for your entertainment side. We kind of mix and match too. So
yeah, and that's the beautiful thing is we talked about backup, and I'm looking at that one wedding where we had a backup of a backup of a backup. Yeah. And thankfully we did, because the DJ's system stopped working.
Yeah.
Halfway through the ceremony. And and thankfully we had not only a microphone on him, but we also had a microphone next to him. So, it worked out it worked out for us.
Yeah.
It was a little awkward that the DJ walked up in the middle of the ceremony, tapped the pastor on the shoulder, but his system cut out. But we had him mic'd up with a separate system, and we were good to go. So I think those are key components. especially, even on the entertainment side is, what happens if this fails? What happens if that fails? Do you have backups? And, both my companies, Irish Entertainment, Irish Scott Productions, we have plenty of equipment to back us up in case of those, needs.
Yeah, so as we're kind of wrapping up here, hopefully this has cleared up any questions and helps any future clients or any other people that may not be considering going with us, but going with another videographer. I always tell our clients on the phone that when I speak with them before their clients, if you don't go with us and you're on the fence about getting a video, always consider getting a video. I always highly encourage getting a video because everyone that doesn't get a video always regrets it afterwards when they see a friend that has a video or a family member or anything like that.
And I think, and also going off of that, I understand there are different, just like photographers, there are different levels of quality. There's different levels of price points and price packages. And I understand budgets, but think about this being one of the most important days of your life. And hopefully this is the only chance that you have to do this. And, even if it's not going with us or the next person, always look at the quality that you're getting from whether it's entertainment, photography, videography, your venues. You got to take in the factor of the quality because I really think it's important. You don't want to be getting a video that looks like it's something coming from the 1990s. A standard shot in the back of a church. If that's what you want, great. I guess something is better than nothing, but, just keep in mind, this is something that you're going to want to watch over and over and over again for the next 50 years as you grow old and you have grandkids or great grandkids and you can pop this video in, do you want that quality or do you want something that looks good? So.
Yeah, touching on what you said about something from the 1990s, you want something that is timeless. So, yes, trends change, dresses change, suits change, but you don't want the video that's going to have the star wipes, the Star Wars weird looking different effects. You want something that is timeless, something that's going to you can watch it in 2025 or 2045 and it was done in 2015 and it's still going to look just as good 30 years
and I really don't think, I think we've kind of, and I say this, and I know that there will be things that come out. Obviously technology will change but I don't think that there's going to be a lot of difference in the types of shots. I think all the videographers out there have kind of mastered the shots that are going to be around for a long time.
Yeah. Color grading, different trends, that's always going to change. Definitely.
And definitely. But I think, your slider shot, your drone shot, your dress shot, the sweepers, the gimbals, the nice smooth, almost looks like you're floating. I don't think much of that is going to change over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I might be wrong, but, I think we've seen, we see different trends in the slow motion or this or that. That changes, yes. But the type of shot, I don't think is going to change because they've been doing those types of shots in movies for a while, but, I think in the wedding video format, I think they're going to stay around for quite a while. Yeah. One last thing before we end, definitely go out, check us out on YouTube, Irish Scott Productions. Go ahead, type that in, look at our past work, or check us out online at irishscottweddings.com. And if you'd like to, have a conversation with us, please fill out our contact form and we will be in touch and set up a time where we can talk to you on the phone.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Have a great day.